I stream the Great Ace Attorney on Twitch. In it, I played the role of Ryu, a Japanese student who was falsely accused of murder. But, in order to protect my best friend's chances of studying abroad, I took to the courts to defend myself, despite having no experience whatsoever. This was incredibly tense and surprisingly ridiculous. Also, if you're new here, please subscribe. It helps out a lot, and you'll get to see more of my stuff later on. And now, on to the video! Episode 1, The Adventure of the Great Departure. The victim's name was Dr. John H. Wilson. Dr. Wilson was a visiting professor from England invited to Yume University 3 years ago. Indeed, which is the reason why this case has such profound implications. The British Empire is at present our country's most valuable foreign ally. Can't be anyone who hasn't heard of the Anglo-Japanese Treaty of Friendship and Navigation. I haven't heard of it. How did this professor of medicine lose his life? Well, I know how to do this. According to this document, the victim suffered a hemorrhagic death due to gunshot trauma. In the West, a doctor dissects corpses to identify the cause of death in an autopsy. But here in Japan, a police officer merely inspects the body and draws conclusions that way. Very well, I am satisfied with your answers. Let us start the trial. Yeah. Okay. Who is this guy? Witness, state your name and occupation for the court, please. Of course. My name is Satoru Hosonaga. I am the head waiter at the Western-style restaurant called La Carnival. Oh! Are you alright? You seem to be coughing up some blood. It's a regular occurrence. It really doesn't bother me. Well, it really, really should. It was just after 2 p.m. on the day in question. We have few diners at that time of day. The lunchtime rush was over, and there were only 3 tables still occupied. That fits with my memory of it, too. There was hardly anyone else in the place. It was when I was in the kitchen, putting away crockery and cutlery. A gunshot rang out, so I hurried to the dining area to see what had happened. I found the victim, an English gentleman, slumped in his chair, and standing immediately beside him, gun in hand, the accused university student. And apart from the accused, was there anyone else standing beside the victim? No, there was no one else around that table but the deceased Englishman and the university student. Wait, what did he just say? There was no one else around that table. What's the matter, Rio? That's just not right. So we went to meet Dr. Wilson. There was a woman sitting opposite him at his table. That's not something a waiter could have missed. Is there any chance you're mistaken? Perhaps your memory of events is hazy. No, the deceased gentleman came to dine alone. Ahem. I actually have a rough plan of the restaurant as it was that day. Please have a look of it if you'd like to. Very conscientious waiter, who doesn't pay attention to the health and safety issues caused by coughing into his hand! Bruh. The prosecution has decisive evidence from sworn witnesses who were present at the scene of the crime. The defense pleads not guilty, Your Excellency. We invite the prosecution to stop making empty threats and bring out its witnesses. Then we'll see just how decisive the evidence really is. Dang, Kazuma's confident. You know, many call me a saint, but I can be a devil when I want to be. Considering everything about you, sir, I find that very hard to believe. Let's see who these witnesses are, yeah. Yes, sir, the great Nippon Army General Aisa Nosa, reporting for duty, sir. Myself, I find employ as a purveyor of fine articles of antiquity from the efflorescence of our nation Nippon, and conduct my trade from Rasute, a humble presence in the 2nd District. Okay, give me a second. Curio Korekuta. Curio collector. Curio. An antique dealer and a soldier. What an unusual pairing. One testimony later. And that is the obvious discrepancy here. Well, how do you explain it? What was that? Something just popped up from... He has a baby on his back. I feel like that baby is going to... Affirmative, the newest member of the Rosa family to rise up through the ranks, sir. Name, Ido. It would seem those straps are a sign of the sergeant being too strapped to a foreign nanny. You know, that might solve one mystery. The true culprit. Even if what I saw wasn't the precise moment the firearm was discharged, it's almost the same thing. Yes, pointing his gun at the foreign man, he was, that young lad in black. That much I myself did see. Furthermore, a visual search of the premises at the time confirmed that we were the only personnel present. Let's press this. You must have noticed someone else at Dr. Wilson's table. There was a lady there. As you've become at pains, I was going to wonder about the kitchen staff, actually. Let's see. There was definitely a woman there. And I don't know what to do about that information. If such a woman were indeed present at the scene, prosecution demands to see proof. This medical report card has nothing to do with the case? Do you really believe that? What? That outburst have petrified me, boy. Of course I believe it. How could it possibly be relevant? Perhaps if I told you that the victim had just had a tooth extracted. What's this now? And furthermore, if I told you that as a result, the victim had been forbidden from eating. Well done, partner. Which leaves one very critical conundrum. Who, in fact, was eating in the pictured beef steak? The person eating the steak at the victim's table must have been an as yet unknown third party. Hold it. Practical meeting. I was just following orders. That's right, as the man says. Just say you never saw the gentlewoman. That's what they are told. Oh, no. You were just following orders. Now, hold on, lad. I was, say you never saw the gentlewoman. I want answers. If it's proven that these witnesses have been manipulated, I assure you the penalty will be severe. Please, wait. Your Excellency, I had no idea about any of this. I knew nothing. And what does the defense have to say? Well, Your Excellency, no time to think. I'm just going to have to close my eyes and shout out the first name that comes to... The waiter? Objection! Court record. Let me open the court record. That's unexpected. He's got a business card. And he's a chief inspector. Even a waiter cannot possibly have that level of influence. I would agree with you. If that is, the man truly were a waiter. Huh? Come on, Ryu. Time to hit this court with the truth. There we go. Waiter's business card. Let's go. The plan of the restaurant sketched by the man in the question? I agree it shows a great deal of attention to detail, but I'm not sure we can conclude anything. Sorry, Your Excellency, that's the back of the card. It's the back of the card that's of interest. Gotta turn things around. Or perhaps I should have said the front? Yes, it's the front of the back of the card. That's where the telling detail is. Just the non-map part. The waiter sketched the plan of the restaurant on the reverse side of his business card. The front of that business card reveals the man in question's profession, his true profession. The waiter's profession? But that's surely... Good gracious! That's right, Your Excellency. The card reads Chief Inspector, Primary Criminal Investigation Division, Imperial Police... Hold it. Who's saying hold it? The waiter? Inspector. I forgot his name. Hosonaga. The Englishwoman sitting at the university professor's table was a certain Miss Giselle Brett. You will locate this Giselle Brett and escort her to the courtroom with utmost urgency. Why? I still feel like that coughing thing is gonna be, like, important. We're gonna call the English student to the stand. Yep. 30-minute recess. That's a good thing. Good thing. Hello, miss. That's a rather poofy skirt you have there. She has her own theme. Dang. Tea. Someone bring English tea. In England, no discussions take place without tea. Is that true? No idea. I've been working undercover as the head waiter at La Carnival. Yes, we know all about you already. It's always ladies first. Is that true? No idea. More importantly, a little earlier today you said something to me. You said your powers of observation are one thing you're sure of. Oh, yes, I think I did, didn't I? This amazing sight was simply a woman. Sorry, Rio, but powers of observation aside, your powers of description are sorely lacking. It's not my fault that Sheesh. Look, Kazuya, Ryu is very clearly uninterested in the lady. Wait, why does she wear a mask? She's speaking English, isn't she? One testimony later. As you can see, there is nowhere about her person where she could conceal a firearm. What about her hat? There are no pockets in my outfit. I have nowhere to hide a gun. Those are the witness's own words on the matter. That's ridiculous. If only I was allowed to lift up her... Oh, don't lift up her dress. So she's maintaining that you got into an argument with the professor at the end of which you shot him, which is an out-and-out totally unfounded lie. Still, her statement is very compelling. And after all, she's an elegant, refined, young, and beautiful gentlewoman from Great Britain. In stark contrast from you, dressed from head to toe in a dull black school uniform. Jeez, Kazuma! It's a uniform. I'm dressed exactly the same way as you are, except for the flapping red ribbons. See, exactly. Miss Brett just told us that she and the professor said cheers over a glass of water. But if that's true, there should be 2 glasses on the table, not 1. It would seem that it was Miss Brett who took the glass from the table. Wait, what? What's she admitting that? Almost got her. Sorry. A little while ago, Miss Brett stated the following. There are no pockets in my outfit. I have nowhere to hide a gun. But what she forgot to mention was her handbag, in which it would be perfectly possible to conceal a gun. Oh. Oh yeah, he's sick. Well, what a sorry situation. This print is of a photograph that I thought would be prudent to take immediately after the shooting. As you can see, it clearly shows Miss Brett's handbag. Well, I never! You can see right through to what's inside.
Yes!
Present the stain? Look at this here. There's a very unusual mark on the victim's wrist. That is true. It looks almost like a burn of some description. An undeniable... So, present. Present the bowl. The beef steak? Actually, the point is the metal plate the steak was served on. The emblem on the plate... sorry, that's me. The emblem on the plate and the victim's burn are exactly the same shape. Ryu, you're a genius. You're spot on. Which means the victim must have suffered this burn while he was present at the restaurant. It's inconceivable that the victim wouldn't have let out a scream of pain then. I've been investigating at the restaurant for several weeks already, but I've not heard anyone scream at all. As head waiter of La Carnival, I can testify to that without hesitation. But you're a detective, not a waiter! There's only one explanation I can think of to make sense of this apparent impossibility. On the day in question, when he suffered the burn to his wrist, Dr. Wilson... No man could remain silent while his wrist was burning on a piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds. That's clearly impossible. Apart from in one particular situation. Counsel, are you suggesting... Yes, it's only possible. If the man was already dead. Already dead? What was that smile? Yes, of course. I mean, I'd be delighted to help. Especially if it helps relations between my country and yours. She does speak Japanese, doesn't she? Miss Brett, you speak Japanese? Something's changed. Well, of course I do. I'm studying in your country after all. But then, why have you been speaking through an interpreter until now? My mother tongue, the Queen's English, is the most refined and elegant language in the world. As a gentlewoman, I try to avoid speaking in vulgar tones as much as possible. Sheesh, it's not that bad of a language. But it seems the men in this land possess none of the chivalrous virtues of English gentlemen, so I can see that I shall have to lower myself to communicate with you all on your own level. Sheesh! Miss, that is incredibly gross. If there's some other way a man's life can be taken without leaving a trace, please do show me. But of course, this country's inferior investigative techniques probably wouldn't pick up on it anyway. Sheesh, that is incredibly rude, madam. I hope that this is the last time I will have to sully my lips with the coarse tongues of your unbecoming tongue. Yeah, I don't like you, Miss Brett. Screw you. Oh, forgive me. I do hope I haven't... Oh no, we are all insulted. Amen. Pursue. Excuse me, sir. What is the meaning of this? I'm not afraid to take everything I can from the scene of the crime. It's preserving evidence, you see. I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief. I'm not ashamed of what I've done. Take this, for example. This is the bottle of carbonated water that I took to the victim's table on the day in question. And yes, it's lost all of its fizz, having been opened 3 days ago now. But it was carbonated water, I don't care what anyone says.
Yes!
There are ways to kill people without physical death. Actually, there is one method of killing a man without leaving a trace that comes to mind. 3, 2, 1. Poison. Yeah! On the day of his death, we know that Dr. Wilson drank from this bottle. Could it be that there was poison inside? And on that day, who was sitting at the same table as the professor and able to slip the poison into his drink? There's only one person who could have possibly done it. Josiah Brett. It was you! If I may, I will silence you forever for this truth. Oh! It is you who should be silent. Of course. Dear lady! Where did that come from? She just snapped. I described your police force as inferior, but no matter how inferior they may be, you still investigated this particular point thoroughly, I believe. The bottle, I mean, Inspector, and whether it contained poison or not. Nothing, obviously. Nothing in the bottle because, you know, you'd have to open it up and stuff. Ouch! Kazuma? We got anything? I'm sorry, Ryu. I have nothing more. Well, if you'll excuse me now, I really must be leaving. Wait for it. Who's the... Wait, what? You! Who are you? Please, wait! Susato Mikotoba, Judicial Assistant to the Defense. Mikotoba? In my darkest hour, with nowhere left to go, she appeared like a bolt of lightning. And in her hand, she carried a small package, wrapped in a furoshiki cloth. Dang it. Well, we know who the romantic interest of this game is going to be. Who exactly are you? I'm sorry, there's no time. Please, simply accept this for now. What is it? A report about something? Written in English. It's Josiah Brett's research. The Englishwoman's? After the trial resumed earlier, I hurried back to the university. I went to Dr. Wilson's laboratory in the medical faculty and borrowed this paper. Oh yeah, that's right. Miss Brett was studying under the professor, wasn't she? So, does this research, whatever it is, have something to do with the case? I'm afraid I don't know. I haven't been able to listen to the proceedings of the trial myself.
Yes!
Suffocation. Miss Josiah Brett, we understand you were studying under Dr. Wilson at UMA University, doing research. Yes, she was. Research, by sheer coincidence perhaps, into a deadly poison. What? Poison? Where are you going with this, Counsel? A toxin known as curare, Your Excellency. Even the slightest amount of this deadly poison entering the body leads to instant death. What? What complete and utter nonsense! Curare, you say? I've never even heard of it. You wouldn't have done. What do you mean? I mean that you wouldn't have heard of curare before for one very simple reason. It doesn't exist in our country. It doesn't exist? Correct, which means no matter what tests the police can do for toxins, they never identify curare. Why? Because there is no test available here that can identify the presence of this highly deadly poison. Because we're not in the 20th century here, folks. Or even the 21st century.
Objection!
Nope. What's the trumpery? These aspersions are utter trumpery. To start with, if the victim had been amidst of some of the so-called deadly poison, he would have been squirming and writhing in pain. Other diners would have surely noticed. The full explanation is extremely unpleasant. The poison causes immediate paralysis, as I said, leaving the victim unable to move. But after a short time, the paralysis is so severe it causes the muscles that control respiration to fail. In other words, the actual cause of death is suffocation. And all the while, the victim is conscious and aware, just unable to move. That's hideous. White slipping peacefully into an endless sleep. But for the victim himself, his final moments would be a living hell. That is the true nature of this deadly career poison. Sheesh, that's grim. Did not expect that to get so grim. Ahem, if I may. All these facts, you think you're so clever, but you must be taught some It is you who must be taught. Of course, dear lady. Dang. Fancy. Don't get too big for your boots, you insignificant little island boys. I'm sorry, you live on an island too, madam. To an Englishwoman such as myself, this whole affair is a farcical comedy. Your little police games and these foolish courtroom antics, it's laughable, really. But I'm getting bored of it all now. It's time for the games to end. Cheers. What the heck? Wait, what are you doing? Well, we tried containing no poison, so it obviously contains poison. When Curer enters the body through an open wound, it has terrifying poisonous effects. However, when it enters the body via the mouth, it has no poisonous effects whatsoever. I'm pretty sure this isn't a real poison, guys. You authored this research, you knew its special characteristics, and you knew that you can make a spectacle of drinking that water without any danger to yourself. You meddling little... Wait, rapscallion? I'm sorry, what? Turns out... So if this lethal poison was completely harmless when drunk, the professor wouldn't have died when he swallowed it, would he? There's other options. Okay, we're gonna have to try something. What is this? What is this welling up inside me? I've never felt like this before. Sort of conviction to break down all the discrepancies. It's so intense. Almost rage-like. And more than anything else, it's an animalistic desire to take down my prey. Objection! I don't think so, Mr. Zyobret. How dare you use that tone with me? You know very well that there is no fatal flaw here. You know exactly why, even though both you and the victim swallowed the same poison, you are alive, but Dr. Wilson is dead. What if there was a wound inside the mouth of the person drinking the poison water? Inside? Yes, like the wound you might have if you had just been to the dentist and had a tooth extracted, for example. Ah! Miss Brett, you've acknowledged many times in your testimony already that you were well aware of Dr. Wilson's dental appointment that day. And that is your undoing! Let's go! You see, when you leave vital evidence lying around, you never know what might happen to it. I mean, it could just slip. Oh dear, how careless of me. I'm afraid some crucial evidence may have just been tragically destroyed. Whoa! She's brutal! We've lost a vital piece of evidence, it's true. So if there are any clues left for us to use now, they must be in your head. My head? You told me before that your powers of observation were the one thing you could really depend on. But I didn't manage to notice that this woman was a foreigner with a swan on her head. So think back again now. Try to remember every last detail about the scene that day. Everything you saw, everything you felt, every color, every smell. Every color. Is Kazuma right? Somewhere in the vibrant memory of this same scene in my head. Could there be another clue to expose the identity of Dr. Wilson's killer? Yeah, there is. We're literally looking right at it. Inspector Hosonaga, answer me this. Yes? What is it? Ugh, he's still miles away. Probably thinking about that bottle being smashed. As you've said a number of times now, you strive for perfection in your investigations, don't you? Absolutely. I wonder, therefore, if perhaps you took anything else from the scene of the crime. Like, for instance, the plate of steak that you took to the victim's table that day. And he saw the scenes shown in the photographic print with his own 2 eyeballs. On the wooden base of the plate was a splattering of blood. Obviously, that must have happened when you shot the professor. No, that can't be the case. Take a good look at the photograph and the relative position of everything there. The plate of steak is almost directly behind the victim. If I'm supposed to have shot Dr. Wilson in the chest from the front, there's no way blood from the victim could have ended up directly behind him. Hold it. What's the hold it? Oh, it's from you. This could be the moment that my entire career in the police force has been leading to. Inspector, you mean... Yes, I took the plate. In the interest of preserving evidence from the scene of the crime. I took it, meat and all. And I don't care if they call me a crime scene thief because of it. You did what? I took the steak that you've been eating, Miss Brett. I took the steak that the sergeant had been eating. And I did it all in the name of justice. This guy's ridiculous. Come on. It's gotta be in. Sorry for the delay. Here's what you ordered. The steak. I like this guy. I didn't like him before, but like, I mean, I can forgive the health and safety violations for this absolute maniacalness. Of course, please. What? Let's go examine the plate. The entire thing. What's this? Huh? What the? I think it's a Koban coin, and the hallmark is from the Hoei era. What's it doing there? He grabbed the wrong plate.
Got it.
There we go. There we go. Good gracious, that's... a Koban? What on earth? A Hoei era one at that. Miss Brett, this is in fact the beefsteak that you ordered at the restaurant the day in question, is it? Tell me, why is there an old coin seemingly hidden underneath the meat? What a ridiculous question. How would I know? I've never seen that thing before in my life. I don't even know what this is, but I want no part of it. I failed to see how this is relevant. A coin under the meat, that could have simply been...
Objection.
The chef would not have a valuable Koban coin in his kitchen on accident. I think we have the wrong state. Oh, crap. A rare Hoei Koban just happens to be hidden underneath that piece of steak. If this turns out to be relevant to the case, I'll give up my lawyer job right now. By all means, don't let us stop you. No one invited you anyway.
Shut up.
Perhaps, little boy, you should realize that it is you who is irrelevant. Even though I'm the one on trial here. The point is, it's essential that we ask the owner of this coin if he can explain what it's doing under the stake. Yep, the owner. Yep. It is this guy. The antique stealer. I remember him saying that he was up to something with his Coben coin when it happened. At exactly the moment the gun was fired, the gunshot interested me not. I was far too busy on the floor. Too busy on the floor? Sorry, what were you doing? Hunting for treasure. Indeed, the holy arrow Caban, my prized coin. Then this holy arrow Caban, do you mean to tell me? No, please, why would Uta-san's Caban be sandwiched between the victim's beef steak and its plate?
Yes.
That's exactly the point. That's exactly the point. Why would it be there? Bring both witnesses that testified earlier back in here, without a moment's delay. Yeah, let's go! There's 4 witnesses now. It's endgame time. Nothing more have I to say. The sun has set on this Ratsutei shop owner's existence. Be that as it may, Korakuta-san, something has come to light that requires your clarification. As far as your Rasutei memory serves, have you ever... Ah! Yes, that's it! The military guy's foot, is he okay? Dude, don't play with a knife! That's... that one! The very one! The very exact one, that is! The splendiferous holy treasure that my rusty bones managed to misplace that fateful day. It can't be. As I thought. Young man, enlighten this decrepit old fool, put me out of my misery. Where was my treasure? Where was it dropped? Oh, I'm not sure if it was dropped anywhere. We found your coin sandwiched between a beefsteak and its plate, soaking in the seasoned meat's juices. Which means somebody must have hidden it there on purpose. Somebody concealed my Hoei treasure between a slab of meat and a metal plate? Who would do such a thing? Such an unconscionable thing? Okay. I mentioned this earlier on in the trial, but I was working undercover in the restaurant in order to investigate another case. Yes, that's right, the secret undercover operation. La Carnival is a high-class Western cuisine restaurant. It attracts wealthy diners, including many foreigners. Recently, there's been a run of similarly executed thefts targeting the restaurant's rich clientele. A number of such incidents have been reported to the police bureau. I don't know about the master thief part, but the identity of the person who stole and hid Korakuta-sen's Koban is all too clear. I think we all know who it is too, guys. It's pretty obvious who this guy is. It is obviously, clearly, Korakuta himself. No, I know who it is. It's hard to prevent. Obviously, it can only be you, Sergeant Isa Nosa. But it wasn't me. It was Ido. Ido was the mastermind behind all this. Honestly, yeah, I kind of was expecting that. All I want is to put a hot meal on the table for my son. That's why you were stealing things at the restaurant? The place is heaving with money. Every 3 days I go there and I do reconnaissance for a target. And I'd enjoy chomping my way through a good steak at the same time. Doesn't bother with a knife and fork even, which is worryingly believable. And your target that day was the old man in his cabin? Yes, sir. He was an easy mark. I slipped the coin into my pocket without any trouble at all. A veritable phantom thief you are. I was all set to leave the stake and I was halfway through devouring when it happened. Yeah, when the professor was shot. I knew that if the police conducted a search and found the coin in my pocket, I'd be finished. So I hid the incriminating evidence as fast as I could. On the double! I slipped it under the stake, hoping that I'd be able to rendezvous with it again at a later date. It was not a very well thought out plan, was it? Well, here's the thing. We need to confirm the... Well, I mean, it did happen. Lady. As for picking up your steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork, it's beyond nonsense. Pure madness. Well, very well, now, very well, now all the questions concerning this was in... There's one more question. Good luck, everyone. Technically, all we... And good day.
Hold it!
Wait, Miss Brett! I'm afraid just one last time, there's something I'd like to ask you. I'd like you to explain the contradiction in your parting words from just a few moments ago.
Objection!
Well, what parting words are you talking about? Yeah, what parting words am I talking about? Hiding a coin under a lump of meat? The sheer nonsense of such an idea astounds me. And as for picking up your steak and biting into it without using a knife and fork, it's beyond nonsense, it's pure madness. What's interesting is the plate of steak that you can see on the victim's table. I know what he's talking about. Not true, doesn't something about the steak strike you as very unnatural? It's extremely obvious. I'm talking about the shape of the edge where it's been eaten. Then take a good look at the steak, in particular the edge where it's been eaten. As you can see, there are clearly defined barbaric, quote-unquote, barbaric teeth marks there. So, if the witness, as she claims, when contemplating anything without using a knife and fork, there shouldn't be teeth marks in the steak at all.
Objection!
Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy. This game's gonna be tough, guys.
Shut up!
Oh, you just insulted her. You just insulted her by implying that if she was so hungry. You're looking rather purple, madam.
Shut up!
Okay. You irritating speckled something? Of course. Dear lady. What's the matter, Miss Brett? Have we ruffled your feathers? I accept that these teeth marks in the steak are a little unnatural, as you put it, counsel. But what exactly are you suggesting that tells us? Everything, Your Excellency. Everything? Yes, I believe that these barbaric teeth marks in the steak here amount to conclusive evidence in this case. Evidence that will prove beyond any doubt who shot Dr. Wilson. Very well, I have a feeling this will be my last request of the defense in this trial. Who possesses the conclusive evidence? It is Satoru. Because he has all the plates, including the ones from the other guy's table. Yep. Come on, Inspector. You have not been willingly withholding it. You have been accidentally withholding it. Now, earlier this afternoon, Sergeant Nosa told the court the following. I'd enjoy chomping my way through a good steak. And as well as admitting to stealing Korakuta-san's coin, he told us that he slipped it under the stake. Your Sergeant Nosa, could you please confirm something for me? Was the stake that you put the coin under, in fact, your own stake? Okay. It was his own stake. He's not brave enough to ask a foreign gentlelady if she'd mind me manhandling her meal to hide something in it. In other words, the stake that the detective submitted as evidence earlier was in fact Sergeant Nosa's meal. But that makes no sense. That plate was taken from the victim's table. Yet the gentlewoman doesn't take bites out of her steak, nor did she have any opportunity to steal the coin. Of course I didn't steal it. To even suggest such a thing would be an affront to the entire British Empire. Well then, how do you explain this paradox? Exactly, certainly you're not going to suggest that the sergeant switched the two stakes over? I'm suggesting someone switched the stakes over. You just said it yourself. You did switch the plates? Oh, after it happened, with military precision and timing, I switched my stake with the one on the foreign lady's table. There it is.
Yes!
Now, we're gonna have one more hurdle, I feel like. We just have to prove that there's no other way for that to happen. Miss Brett? Come on. We've got you. Miss Josiah Brett? It's you. Dang, I really did look like a great ace attorney there, didn't I? Outdone. By a Japanese schoolboy? For the record, if you're gonna say Japanese, you need to mention it's an adjective. You don't leave it singular, madam. It's... What? I'm thinking that's a goose on her hat now. What on earth? I am stunned. Please excuse my little outburst. I briefly lost my composure. Talk to your goose, lady! Most unbecoming behavior for an English gentlewoman. And her goose! Hereby find the defendant not guilty.